Hey Jerry, how you doing?
Doing well.
Doing well. What about yourself?
We're doing well,
We're doing well,
just enjoying COVID at our
houses. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I'm
Excited
excited to hear what you guys have today.
Yeah,
We've been
so
working on it for a while.
Yeah, we have. So as you know, our primary contact over at MGM is Atif, who's actually a family friend of my wife's, and at a dinner party. So we have a couple of mutual friends. I'm planning on going to a couple boys golfing trip this weekend. So I'm going to try and open up our meeting, build some rapport that way, and talk about how I know some of our family friends. Then we're going to try and get into the meat of the subject. So I'll share my screen here with our slides, and we can talk about our future partnership with Azure.
Potential partnership, most likely.
Future partnership. Yeah, I like it. With MGM and Azure. So we're going to start off this meeting. We're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft's Azure and kind of the product, and then we're going to talk about MGM and their business model.
I mean, we're both pretty familiar with it. We've been in talks with them.
Yeah.
But just to kind of go over it, let them understand what they're getting, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about a future partnership and how it can be mutually beneficial for both. So obviously, everyone knows that Azure is the leading cloud computing platform out there, and covers 90% of the Fortune 500, and has a variety of products that's constantly being updated, and mainly does artificial intelligence and machine learning.
And then MGM is the gaming industry leader, and they're actually a little behind on the cloud computing, but in their plans, they're in the market for digitizing, security, and profit growth, and that's where we see ourselves coming in.
Yep. So as I said, digitizing and profit growth are the big goals of MGM. And then cybersecurity is a really big thing that they need. And they just had 10.6 million users data lost because of their partnership with Oracle, like a few months after switching over. So that could be an issue for them. You have anything to say, Jerry?
As a matter of fact, I do. So why do you think? How are you? So I'm familiar with Azure, but how are we going to, or you and your teammate going to kind of get that message across that they don't need to be worried, because they're probably going to be pretty skeptical about getting another cloud system and trusting it.
Yeah, especially after such a short period of time. Yeah, we're expecting a little pushback on that. So our plan is to talk about how Azure does 90% of the cloud computing for Fortune 500 companies. And some of its large customers include the North American Air Defense System, Air Force, and Boeing. So all three of those, have extremely sensitive information that can alter foreign policy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little more.
I mean, not to say that the user data that MGM is holding isn't important, but it's not nuclear launch codes or something like that.
We work with a little higher classified stuff already, and I feel like our investments into our security for our customers will go a long way with it too.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll touch base on our investment security in a second.
Yeah, and then we'll touch back on digitizing. So we mentioned that that's one of their main plans. It's actually in their 2020 plan to digitize as much as possible, because that's one of the ways that they see going forward to cut costs the most for their expenses. Because we'll touch on it later with our AI system that we're using with Caesars, but the digitizing that we can bring to them will definitely be an attractive option.
Yep. So let's talk about sports betting. That's really where MGM sees their big growth, and that what they really need to do is grow. If you don't grow, you die.
So sports betting, as you've probably heard, Jerry, is one of the bigger new industries. I mean, it just was legalized recently, I think in 2017 in New Jersey, and now it's expanded to 6 other states. So there's only 7 states that have this stuff legal, and it's still making gargantuan amounts of money. And we and a lot of other people see that this industry is going to be a big one to get into early.
And actually, my teammate Andrew here is addicted to sports betting.
It's fun. But so even in this, so we found this diagram that kind of forecasts the way that we expect to see sports betting grow in the coming future, in the short-term future until 2024. And as you see in the top right-hand corner of our diagram, it's expected to grow 12.91% year over year. So that's a compounding number, and that leads to an estimation of $144.4 billion in revenue, which is I mean, this industry is brand new and just legalized. So that number is probably low ball, to say the least. And getting our foot in this industry early on, we see for MGM and Azure as a partnership to really grow.
Yep, we see this as their high growth area and really something that we can help them out on. They had plans originally to launch earlier this year or last year, and they've kind of been slowing down. COVID's obviously slowed down those plans from all our conversations with their team members. So now we're going to kind of talk. We're going to try and talk to them about how we can help. So we think that security is the big one, right? We have $1 billion a year that we spend on security for our customers, so we're constantly updating that and making sure that we're at the top of the industry for security. And we're going to try and touch on, obviously all the customers that we already service, but also that security is the biggest risk for us. And if we ever had a security breach, it would really be a bad look for our company and would make it a lot harder for us to sell. So we're going to try and say that our interests are aligned with them on this one. Next, we're going to talk about how 95% of the Fortune 500 uses Azure. And finally, we're talking about the Microsoft Intelligent Security Platform. A lot of the things that they've talked about in their 2020 plan is about centralization. And this offers the perfect centralization for them because they're going to be, they can have, maybe 3 or 4 people in at their headquarters in Las Vegas, just managing, okay, hey, we just got a little ping from Microsoft's artificial intelligence that says, hey, maybe this email is corrupted. We need to make sure we get this out of the system immediately, we'll explain to them that the way that it works, that it uses all the data that we have from all our different customers and says, hey, this was a bad data, and it results in this customer, possibly losing information. We need to make sure that, and this email looks similar,
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very profitable investment for Atif and his team because they'll realize that, sure, buying into a partnership is a little bit upfront cost, but imagine the lawsuits they're dealing with 10.6 million leaks. I mean, having a sure security system is very important in this industry and every other.
Yeah, and so the growth. Next, we're going to talk about a growth platform. So artificial intelligence. They have a special little bottle of wine that maybe a customer likes, and if the customer's sitting there, artificial intelligence goes, "Hey, this guy's ordered wine the last 7 nights.
Yeah,
we probably want some more wine." And then boom, we have a little nicer bottle of wine. Would you like to spend a little more? They spend a little more.
Yeah,
revenues
we
increase.
just make it much easier for the service industry that's on the floor at the MGM. And then we actually have some stone cold data from our partnership with Caesars, which we started in 2019.
Yep. And
their 2020 prior to COVID, so February 25th expense earnings report, they reported a 2.54% increase in revenue quarter over quarter. And then in specific to Azure in the operations income, they actually increased 77%. So our slight artificial intelligence implement has already paid dividends for them. And I think Atif will love to hear this, especially in an industry that's directly correlated with his own.
Yeah. And then obviously EBITDA, it's going to be a lot of time up front to set it up, mainly on our end, but probably on their end as well. But once it's set up, it's going to be so much more profitable for them.
It's an investment.
And they can outsource their IT. It's just all around really great set up there. We're going to talk about outsourcing IT because, we have our third-party partners that we work with for making any unique things that maybe MGM wants. So that's something we're talking about. After all talking about these features and advantages, we're going to try and make a recommendation as to what we want to do going forward.
Oh, I got a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that they just recently signed with Oracle. What's going to make them want to sign with Azure? And do you think they're going to be a little nervous that the two won't intertwine as they expect? Because this is a big risk for them to go from one cloud 1 year to another the next. Like they're probably not expecting to just keep buying cloud systems.
I bet you they're not. We're going to try and pitch ourselves. Yeah, exactly. We're going to try and pitch ourselves as the one and only cloud system you need. You sign with us, you're done. But here's our plan with that. So obviously, we'd like to try and switch over their whole company, boom, to Azure. We think that's
not very likely.
Not very likely. We think we're going to try and pitch implementing security company-wide immediately, then having Azure manage all of the back office for the sports betting, because that's where they see the high growth and where we think the artificial intelligence can really perform, not at its best, but close to, at the best for the company.
And we think our data analytics match with betting is perfect.
Perfect setup. And then after that, we want to switch over their whole organization. And so we're going to say, hey, let us put, after talking about all our features, we have great security, we have great future growth, we offer great competitive advantage with everything that we know from Caesars. Let us take over your cloud computing, and we're going to help. And this is what we want to do: implement security immediately, help out with your sports betting, and then eventually switch. And then you guys are going to love the product so much, you're going to switch over your whole organization.
And then also we'll be able to pitch to Atif that this is a low risk combination of cloud systems, because at Caesar they actually have Oracle as well. So we've already kind of learned the nuances and how to intertwine the two and how they work off of one another.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, the operating income for Caesars is going up. I mean, it's pretty evident that we're capable of manipulating cloud systems with one another.
We are expecting some pushback here on, Atif saying, hey, I don't really want two cloud systems. I want one. I don't want them bashing.
And the new investment. So we're ready for that to use the Caesars.
That's our response plan on that one. Definitely will have, I think, some pushback here. But I think that we can definitely walk away with a sale. It's just a matter of how big. Yeah, you got something to say, Jerry?
Well, I love that closing line. That really gets me going. But it seems like you guys have most of your stuff on lock. I'm excited to see how the sales pitch go, and I'll hear from you soon.
Yep. Well, we'll see you soon. I hope you enjoy COVID.
Yeah, that's an ironic statement.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
Have a great day.